Hello, fellow Tarnished, but more specifically, recusants and bloody fingers who like to invade other players' worlds and cause some chaos and havoc. I'm sure you've come across in your adventures invading Grace Duelist, the kind of host who likes to hang out at a Grace and just fight you 1v1. They're not the most fun of players because they kind of go against the whole idea of invasions. Which for me, invasions are going into somebody's world and being part of their environment, being one of the enemies, perhaps a mini boss in their world. They have to get through an obstacle. They have to get past to get to the boss of the level so they can progress. That's how I see invasions. And that's how I have fun. But these players, they just wanna have a 1v1. And the thing is that typically they like to have all the advantages, right? They like to turn on their rune arc, which depending on the rune arc could give them like 5 levels for each stat. It could give them a whole bunch of HP, a lot more FP. They like to, hang out near the grace so like when they die, they can just easily grab their runes. If they really wanted to have a fair fight, though, they would put down their red summon sign so they can be summoned as a duelist. Maybe they can summon a duelist at a summoning pool. They could, go to the arena and join a mode that is specifically designed for fair fights. It's 1v1. Everyone's on an even playing field. But no, these players, they just want to win. They just want to typically, bully the invaders that pour in. And the thing is, with the matchmaking in this game, like when you're invading, you're typically invading people higher than your level. So these Grace Duelists are more often than not getting invaded by people who are lower than level, and if they're not, they're only higher by, maybe 5 or 10 at most levels. So some of these duelists might say that, oh, I just want to fight someone in an area that I like. I want to pick my arena. The thing is that, like, when you decide to play online in this game, you're no longer in your bubble here. You're agreed to be part of this collective experience with people, and you can't really dictate how someone else is gonna play. I can't really force these duelists to not do what they're doing, but they can't force an invader to comply with their supposed rules. What can we do when we come across these duelists? Well, there's a variety of things we can do. I'm going to go down a list here and demonstrate the things that I typically like to do when I have some free time and want to maybe annoy these Grace Duelists a little bit and not fight them on their terms, but make the game a little bit more fun, make it more engaging than just, a duel by a Grace, a boring old duel. So the first thing I like to do is just get a lay of the land, see what's going on. Sometimes these duelists are actually just gankers in disguise, and they're going to summon a blue when they can, or a friend is hiding. So once I get an idea of like what I'm dealing with, and I don't want to engage right away, I like to shoot from far, just to kind of let them know I'm around, but I'm not gonna go in right away. I'm not gonna play by their rules. The ballista, the cannon, they're good tools for this. The idea really isn't to kill them or do much damage. It's more to just, maybe catch them off guard, or to just kind of annoy them a bit from afar to get them a little anxious and antsy. The most effective is probably just the bow and arrow, going for headshots. One thing you can do, which is in these invasions to annoy them, is put on the concealing veil, a great little talisman. So this talisman when you're far away from your host and you're crouched, they can't see you. You disappear. You basically become invisible when you're a certain distance away from the host and you're crouching. So typically, if you see the little icon on your compass, the icon that indicates where the host is, then you're far away enough for them not to see you when you're crouching. So use that to, get a better position, and then you can go for headshots. You can go for just a lot of cheeky little things here. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to annoy them to the point where maybe they'll disconnect. So after peppering them with some arrows, then I like to engage a little bit with them just to lure them out from their grace, get them away from their nest, and perhaps lure them towards some mobs, some enemies, so they can actually, engage with the level. So that you take them out to the mobs and just, have a little fun with them, have your friend, your Albanark friends join in. You can, if you're in Liurnia, you can take them to the lobsters. That's kind of fun. Just get them away to somewhere where maybe you can level the playing field. Like, yeah, they got their rune arcs active. You're probably lower level, and I don't necessarily really seriously engage in 1v1. Sometimes I just annoy them with a few hits and then just keep running away. And then hopefully you can get them to a world boss, where now maybe you have the upper hand with the world boss in the world. And yeah, maybe this one, for example, this host decided to summon blues, and they just became gankers. But with other enemies and world bosses, now it's become more the invasion that I wanted to participate in. And if they end up actually defeating the world boss, then that's actually a good thing too, because how this game works is once you defeat a set number of world bosses or just the main boss at a level, you can no longer be invaded in that area. You can't summon in that area. The multiplayer is basically turned off in that area. So if you get them to defeat the world boss, then they'll no longer be in the invading pool for you to invade in, and you won't have to deal with a duelist again in that area, and you'll save other invaders from dealing with this duelist. When they figure out that you're just having some fun playing around with them, they will maybe disconnect, and that is a win in my book. More often than not, though, the duelists won't come to you. They're not going to get lured into the enemies. They're not going to follow you. They're going to wait for you to come. Sometimes 10 minutes, 30 minutes, just by their grace. In which case, you don't have to go in there right away. You can take your time. You can go explore the map. Maybe there was an area, like a tower you haven't visited in your world, and if you go to the tower and the name comes up, for example, now it's on your map, and maybe now you can invade in that area. Now that area is opened up to invasions because you visited that area. So you can do things like that. You could also just take a break. You could use the restroom. You could, grab a snack. You could, while you're far away, they will probably disconnect. And if they don't, you can maybe just go visit a giant. You could look up close to these enemies, look up close and get a good view of their innards. You can't really do this in your own game because they'll attack you, right? These enemies will attack you. So it's a good time to do some exploring and investigation work for any of your lore needs, or if you're interested in taking a good look at how these enemies are designed. Another thing you can do is engage with the host through a conversation by messaging them. Maybe they messaged you and just reply, like maybe role play. In this invasion, for example, I was a mischievous demon, trying to get the backstab while they were busy, in conversation. Whether it's on Steam, PSN, wherever, you could look up their profile and just have a chat, get to know them, distract them to a location, lure them somewhere, poke fun at them. Get to just have a good chat. This is an online multiplayer game. A lot of people playing this game are actually lonely, and they just want to have some kind of human connection with somebody. They want to feel something beyond their desperate loneliness. Why not engage with that? Why not participate? Why not help someone? Why not, build some rapport? Why not get to know your fellow Tarnished? What if through diplomacy, instead of violence, we can get these duelists to become our friends? We can get them to change their ways. One thing I like to do is leave little treats, little presents on the ground. Lure them with the colorful pebbles and leave things like glass shards or soap so they can clean up after their sweaty battles, Stuff like that. They'll pick it up. They're curious. A lot of them will. You can actually leave like weapons and stuff that is actually helpful. But you could also be a little gremlin and just leave some funny things like cotton or whatever. And they may approach, but if they see that you're luring them to a big old mean bird, they'll probably run away. But here, for example, I have the concealing veil on, and I just drop a bar of soap there for this duelist to go pick up. Hopefully they'll see it, and they do. They come, they right there. They go and pick it up. They're like, "Ooh, what's this?" And they discover it's actually some soap, because they're all sweaty with their bull goats, their rune arc that gives them plus 2,000 HP, more than 2,000 HP. Now they can clean up after their sweaty battles. Oh, and then you come around and you leave some more again. You leave another bar of soap because they're still sweaty and they don't know where you are. It's like a little like a scavenger hunt almost, or a little like Easter egg hunt. Make it fun for them, So my goal is just to tire them out, get them exhausted, get them bored, get them wondering, maybe I should go to the arena or something. Maybe I'll get more duels that way. And then when they're least expecting it, this host, for example, they were hiding in this mausoleum for a bit. Then they went out, and then from afar I saw that, and I snuck in and waited for them to come in, and then the surprise attack. That's the point. The point is, the art of war, right? The best attacks are surprise attacks to get your enemy when they're least expecting it, and then you can just run away and rinse and repeat. Get them frustrated. That's the whole idea here. And then maybe, like I said, you could lure them out with lower health, but a lot of them they don't want to. They just want to stay by their grace. They want to stay close to home. They don't want to venture out. They're too afraid, right? So they're gonna go back into their little home there. Eventually, this guy decided to turn on their blue summons, and they got a blue in, and then another invader came in, and now he's decided to gank this other invader. But here I come with the lightning bolt there, surprise attack, and now they're done. They're gone. Bye bye. That's a way to end it, and get a one up on this bully here, trying to bully all us invaders. It's like, well, guess what? You weren't looking, and bam, you're gone. So sometimes I don't want to spend 30 minutes or 10 minutes in somebody's world. I want to get to the next invasion, and there's a simple solution to this. All you gotta do, if you come across these Grace Duelists and you don't want to deal with them, it's pretty easy. You just have to you have to use one of these, the severing finger. Just disconnect, just like go back to your world, use this and leave them be. Maybe block them. You don't want to deal with them, block their their account temporarily, maybe. I don't know, whatever you want. I'm not really blocking too many people these days. It's not too much of an issue for me, these Grace Duelists. I often do like to just annoy them a bit before I engage. There's plenty of other invasions, but this is a simple solution, right? Of course, the more invaders out there that pester and annoy these duelists, the more they will realize that perhaps this isn't the game for them. Perhaps they're not just going to get easy wins all the time. Really, I only recommend doing this when you're more short on time and want to just have a fun little invasion. Go to the next one. You could also just fight them. You could fight them. Yeah. One thing you could do is go up to them and not actually fight them. Just stand there and have them beat you, and then you're dead and you're gone and you get to the next invasion. That's another thing you can do. You can fight them without healing. Sometimes it's fun to fight them and see how far you can make it. Sometimes you can beat them because they're not really good at the game, and they heal like 5 times and you heal none. So there's different things you can do besides just annoying them in that way, in the ways we've listed thus far. Now, all this could be applied. All these techniques can be applied to Gankers as well, which are the players who have 2 summons in their worlds or 2 blues in their worlds, and they just want to gang up on poor little invaders, 3v1 style, and they want all the advantages. They want to, they just want to bully the invaders like that. They're a lot more shameless than the duelists actually, but the techniques we've listed, you could apply them here to Gankers, but it's just a little bit more challenging because you have to maybe get away from 3 people instead of just 1 person. You could definitely make a build around it too, a long range build. The most effective tactic to annoy Gankers is the long range tactic, the concealing veil. Use that from afar to assess the battleground, and then pepper them with arrows from afar, get headshots and stuff like that. Acclaimed Souls streamer Peeve has a build all dedicated to taking down Gankers. So probably check them out if you wanna know more about that. And that's probably dealing with Gankers may be another video in the future. But as you can see from this clip, something as simple as just walking away, it can be very effective against Gankers. These, for example, these Gankers here are perplexed, like, what are you doing? They ask, and I'm just invading here, and they just want to fight, and they're pretty open about what, unlike Grace Duelists, they're pretty open about what they're doing. A lot of them, they just want to beat up on duelists with all the advantages they have. That's really what they want. We are farming invaders, not running a wild goose chase. They openly admit it. So that's its own kind of shamelessness there. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you have any other techniques or tips to deal with Grace Duelists, Gankers, etc. How do you, as an invader, how do you pester them? How do you annoy them? How do you have your fun? Or maybe you're a Grace Goblin yourself and you want to tell me how much you hate me and invaders like myself. Please share your perspective. I'm curious to know your side as well. Yeah, just remember, it's a game. Don't sweat it too much. It's just a game. We're all trying to have fun. People like to have fun in different ways, and this is a collective online experience. We're all part of this. Maybe everything I'm listing in this video is not the kind of game you want to play, and that's okay. You can, you're free to do as you please, but just, be aware that other people are going to play how they want to. All right, Tarnished. Have a pleasant rest of your day or night, and have some fun out there in the lands between.